Hello, everybody, and welcome to the OCVarsity Gridiron Show, Week 10 and League Championship Edition. So, if you've been following us since Week 0, way back in August, thanks and congrats to making it to the final week of the regular season. If you're new, you're welcome as well. And here's an update on our duel between myself and Steve Fryer as we head into Halloween games. My pal, Mr. Fryer, 35-6 on the season, a one-game lead over me. I have a 34-17 record. Fryer, one game better, 35-16. What have you thought of the competition this year, Steve?
Been great. We're always pretty close to each other every year. It's pretty fun. We agree a lot, but the ones we disagree on, you always seem to get them right. I don't know how that works, but somehow you do.
Well, last week there was a couple barn burners that we disagreed on.
Yes, sir.
I picked Fullerton that somehow miraculously rallied past Sunny Hills.
Yes.
You picked Laguna Beach, which won a shootout against Dana Hills. I had picked the Dolphins, but that was a great game.
49-40.
49-40 wow. In the Foxtrot League.
Yeah, maybe both those teams went into that thing averaging like 40 points a game, so it totally made sense the way that score well
yeah.
done.
It might have been one of the best games I've seen. It might be the best game I've seen this year.
Yeah.
So that was an exciting one. And I know you've been seeing some good games too.
Yes, sir.
And some of these opponents that we're going to be talking about, again, I said, League Championship Edition. So there's a lot of big games that are going to decide league championships. And I'll mention now, so in case I forget later, the playoff brackets for the Southern section come out on Sunday at 10 a.m. So it's a big weekend coming up. A lot of games on Thursday, as we're going to talk about. Games on Friday and Halloween. Sunday, 10 o'clock. So be sure to follow our coverage on OCVarsity, lock into Steve Fryer, and all our coverage that you'll be seeing from us on Sunday. It's a pretty big day for us. And of course, we really do appreciate your support, especially to the Gridiron Show and all our stories all year. We are not done. We are just catching our, week 10. We got to shift into playoff mode. So a lot more excitement to go as all these OC teams chase championships. But league championships are still a big deal, aren't they, Mr. Fryer?
Oh, yeah. They're still, with the ratings, the HS ratings thing being all important these days, league titles are still a blast. You get to, you go back to the gym some year and you see, oh, yeah, 2025, that was us, man. That was us, So I think I think there's still a lot of weight to it. That's pretty good.
Yes, I agree. It's, something to celebrate. And I think teams are always, this is the first order of business. Try to win your league. If you win a league championship, that's a big deal. And, even in the power rankings, it's something that's still, it's nice to see in the power ratings era, the league titles still matter. A lot of school pride there. So let's start off, Steve. Let's go to the Delta League on Thursday. This game's going to be at Saddleback College. Tustin, 8-1, 4-0 in the Delta League, taking on Capital Valley, also 8-1, 4-0. So the winner, outright league champion. Last year, the Tillers were the league champion. But this year, Tustin has 2 losses on the field. Damien, Long Beach Poly. The latter was later reversed by forfeit. Capo, 1 loss to Crean Lutheran, 23-16. That looks pretty darn impressive now, as you see that Crean Lutheran's 9-0, undefeated, headed to Division II, it looks like, for the playoffs. So I haven't seen Tustin, but I know they're talented. Got a good sophomore quarterback in Aiden Edwards. Capo, I saw last week against Elmo, and I really was impressed how Talon Spencer, junior dual threat, he can really control things. Last year, as we said, Tillers got the league title. En route to that, they defeated Capo Valley 21-14. Who do you got in this one, Steve?
Close game, but I got Tustin winning this game. I think defensively they've got everything going over there. Terry and Jeremiah Williams on the line over there. Iwane rather, part of the Iwane group. So they've got a lot of good football players over there on the defense side. Edwards throws the ball nice, sort of under the radar receiver for Tustin. Hayden Coop, that guy's really good. And of course, they can run the ball like nobody's business. Eli Robinson, 200 plus yards last week. So I'm going with Tustin in this game. I saw Capital play and lose to Korean Lutheran. Capistrano Valley looked really good. Spencer's very good football player, and they've got good players at other spots as well. But Tustin's my pick, Dan.
All right. Interesting about this game is, they played in the last 2 years in the Delta League. They were playing non-league games before that. So there's a lot of familiarity between Coach Lopez and Coach Curtis with these two teams. And they've been willing dance partners and put on some good shows. And I think, I wrote about how Capo's flying under the radar, in my opinion.
Yeah.
A tad. And you mentioned Hayden Koo, who I saw just look fabulous over the summer. When Mission Viejo was winning the summer and passing league and winning tournament after tournament, Hayden Koo was one of those guys catching a lot of passes from Luke Fahey. So his arrival has been huge for Tustin. One of the last moves of the summer. So that's been significant. I'm picking the Tillers. Though I think, I expect Capo to play well, but I'm picking Tustin just because I think some of their physicality could be the difference. I think they're going to have to play, fundamentally sound for sure against Capo Valley and really compete well. But I have been impressed. Capo's not the biggest team, Steve, physically. They got it, and they do have an injury at running back, but Talon makes up a lot of that. But I'm excited to see this game. I like Tustin in this one. All right, keeping Thursday, Steve. Let's go to the Omnicron League. And this is an interesting one. I'm excited to talk about this one. Pacifica, 6-3 overall, 4-0 in league. At Portola, 6-3, 4-0 in league. So Pacifica has been slightly more dominant in the league, based on scores. They have a stronger strength of schedule, I think, overall, according to HS ratings than Portola. Yeah. Notably, Mariners, they impressed me in a loss, a 24-21 loss to Aliso, who I think is pretty good. They also have beat Northwood, which beat Portola. But on the flip side with the Bulldogs, they beat Irvine. They beat Beckman. And they also have a huge revenge factor in this game. Last year, Pacifica won this game 28-0 in week 10. And, Portola is very tough at home. They're going to be at home in this one. They get the big crowd, lots of purple and black out there, probably some smoke. They do it big there at Portola. Great Friday night, Thursday night game atmosphere for football. So who do you got in this one? I think is, for the Omnicron League. And I didn't mention, because of the revenge factor. Last year, week 10, Pacifica won 28-0. And all Portola did, Steve, after that was come together, win the Division 11 title, then win a SoCal title in Division 6 AA, and then get to the state finals. So they responded from that loss tremendously with a historic year. Peter Abe became coach of the year, rightfully so. And but here they have a chance to maybe, get some revenge, obviously, against Pacifica. Who do you got in this one?
Pacifica, man, that team is rolling. You look at their scores, they're averaging 48 points a game in league. Beat Catella last week 45-0. So it wasn't like, they were looking ahead of the Portola game, already thinking about that. Yeah. They took care of business. They're taking care of business every week. They got those close losses you mentioned. Marina, pretty good team, lost them by a handful of points. Then you got that 24-21, the loss you're talking about to Aliso. So, yeah, they're right in there. And, I neglected putting them in my little, my 26 through 35 or 40 rankings until our partner, Michael Huntley, says, hey, man, you got to take a look at Pacifica. And so I did. So they're in there now. So Mariners coached by good old Kyle Murphy, really good coach, assistant coach so many years at Edison and all-county lineman at Edison, played some college football as well. I'm going with the Mariners of Pacifica, sir.
Yeah, Pacifica has steadily improved this year. They got off to a slow start. They lost a tough one. I think they lost their opener to Kennedy.
Yes.
And they've been trying to right the ship since then, and they certainly have made a lot of good strides in that one. Kennedy is not a bad team either, but that was, probably a tough opener to lose. I like the quarterback wide receiver duo that Pacifica has developed this year with quarterback Anima and the wide receiver Carlson's having a big year. Portola's, defense still pretty stout with Mapstone at linebacker. I am also picking Pacifica, so we agree on those two Thursday games. I think Portola is going to be pretty pumped for this one. I do wonder about some of their health. Some of their key players have missed some time this year. I won't be stunned if Portola wins, but Pacifica is my pick. All right, let's go to Friday, Halloween. So let's go to Iota League Championship. The site of this one's going to be Fullerton High School. It's going to be El Toro making the trip to North County. They're 6-3, 4-0 in league, taking on defending champion Troy, 8-1, 4-0. So El Toro's lost. They lost early to Tesoro, Aliso, gotten on track in the pretty competitive Iota League. Troy's only loss is to La Mirada, so they haven't lost to an OC team. The Warriors are also the defending league champion. They beat El Toro last year 42-24 behind 186 yards rushing by Ethan Mundit, and who is back this year. He's healthy. He's missed a little time as well, but he is back. Had a good game last week. El Toro is going to counter with running back Makai Chi, who's very close to being 1,000-yard rusher himself. They also Chargers, White Nucci, we've mentioned a few times on the show, having a pretty solid year as his first year starter. They have some balance, but Troy has got the track record on El Toro. They're the defending champ. They're at home. Who do you got in this one?
Troy. And I think it's going to be kind of a close game. Troy beat Irvine last week, 21-20. Probably a pretty close game in a lot of people's minds for a team that went into that thing 7-1, that being Troy. But I saw Irvine play, man. They're good. There's nothing wrong over there. But I think Troy, Ethan Muntz is a very interesting running back. The best running backs get the ball, kind of skip a little bit, wait for the hole to develop. And then when it does, boom, shoot through it like a cannonball. He's a very interesting runner, very smart guy. A lot of good running backs for good high school football teams. Just like go for it and expect the hole be there. It's not there. It's a 1 yard gain or zero gain. But this kid, he waits. I like the way he waits for it to develop and then he shoots through. And good yards beyond the line of scrimmage for Ethan Muntz. Really good football player. So he should play at least JC ball something. He's really fine. But I got Troy in this game. The only thing about Troy is maybe their pass defense isn't the greatest. El Toro can throw it a little bit. That could be a problem for Troy, but I'm going with the Warriors with Troy, Dan.
Okay. Yeah, and Ethan Mund also plays linebacker. He's a fine two-way player for Troy. I'm also going with the Warriors. I like them to repeat as Iota League champions. I think, and I think Ethan is a big reason why. But I expect this to be a very exciting game and one of the best games on Friday. Are you covering this game?
I am covering this game. Let me tell you a little fun thing about this. They got a really good linebacker over there at Troy, Fisher McDonald. He and Ethan Munt are cousins.
Nice.
Been playing together since they were 5 years old. That's good community high school football right there, guy.
That's right. I love to hear that. That's good. Community football, high school, neighborhood football, still alive. I know that happens a lot at Troy. All right. Let's go to the always fun Lambda League on Friday. How about this one, Steve? Marina, 6-3, 2-2 in league, taking on Beckman, also 6-3, 4-0 in league. So Patriots, who are going to be the home team at Tustin High School, they've already clinched at least a share of the league crown for the second straight year. Now Beckman, they've won 5 straight. They were part of a three-way tie for first place last year. So last year, they lost in overtime to Marina. And they were in week 10, they were 9-0, undefeated at the time. And the Vikings spoiled their perfect record. So that was a bitter loss for Beckman that was trying to go 10-0 in the regular season for the first time in school history. The Patriots led by running back. They got Makai is a very good, almost 1,000-yard rusher. Noah Nam is taking care of the ball, 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So Vikings are interesting in that they've lost in league, which is very competitive, to Sunny Hills in the final seconds. They got blanked by Fullerton. We know Fullerton's much improved and, such a well-coached team. That was tough. So they've had some struggles in league, but in non-league, they beat Pacifica, as you mentioned, Steve, earlier. and they also beat Foothill early in the season. Both those wins looking outstanding for Marina. They have a really good running quarterback in Francis Saporito, who's a former running back. So he's very fleet of foot and an outstanding runner. Ben Ramos is also a good back. It's good to see him back running the ball. He got banged up against in the Sunny Hills game, which I think was which was a blow for the Marina Vikings. So Marina, they got pretty good power ranking. They're above 500. That you would but they can make things interesting and clog things up in the Lambda League, which is kind of used to that. Who do you got on this one?
Marina's offense is averaging 18 points a game. I think, and Beckman can do it with Shikowski, the running back, Nam, the quarterback. They can put up points. For me, it's going to be a challenge for Marina to keep up with Beckman's offense. And I don't, even though Marina's defense is really good, we all know, you follow this game, Eric Johnson's their defensive coordinator after so many great seasons doing that job over at Mater Dei during many, many championship years. But I think that Marina's offense has got to try and keep up with Beckman's offense. I don't think they can do it. So I got Beckman winning this game, Dan.
Okay. I'm also picking Beckman. We are agreeing on all these games. Interesting enough, I don't know if you saw the HS ratings. Have you seen their HS rating projection on this game?
Yeah, 21-20.
And you know who they had winning?
Marina.
Yeah, so that was quite interesting. Shows you that Marina's power ranking has been impressive, and they've had a fine year. So
their power ranking, Marina's is a 1, Beckman's is a negative 1.2. That is close. Really close.
Very, very close. So, but we were both picking Beckman to go 5-0 and win the Lambda League outright. All right, Steve, we are agreement on all 4 games. Let's see what happens at this one. So, Servite, Orange Lutheran in the Trinity League Friday night at Orange Coast College. So, you might be wondering, Albano, why did you pick this game in the Trinity League and why are we not talking about Mater Dei St. John Bosco? Dare I say, Steve, I think this is the closest game in the Trinity League on Friday night. I think Mater Dei at Bosco. I think Mater Dei will hang tough, make some highlights, provide some resistance, but I do think the Braves are going to win in a decisive manner. I don't know if it's going to be like that. The teams last year when they played in the Trinity League game where it was like 48-0 at halftime and a running clock in favor of Mater Dei. Is Bosco going to do the reverse of that? I don't know about that. But I think Servite Orange Lutheran is a closer game. So that's why we're ending it here. So interesting enough, Servite, they played Mater Dei and Santa Margarita in league a little bit closer than Orange Lutheran played those same teams of Mater Dei and Santa Margarita. So they slight advantage to me, comparative scores against those two teams for Servite. Both teams kind of struggling in the pass game. Servite's Calais Murphy coming off a 5 for 23 passing against Bosco, though a promising guy who's definitely got some ability. Same with Ezra Brown. He's new on the job, freshman quarterback at Orange Lutheran. Lancers had some balance last week against Santa Margarita, but not many points. 28-7 because they surrendered a touchdown. Eagle scored a defensive touchdown. They also scored a special teams touchdown.
Yeah.
So maybe that skews the stats. But can Ezra Brown and Calais Murphy light it up? Yes, they are capable when they're on. Quarterback, it's a team game. There's a lot of other factors at play. But I like both these teams have good offensive lines. They have good running backs. Gavin Gutierrez is back for Servite. We know about Sean Morris at Orange Lutheran, who almost got about 100 yards against Santa Margarita last week. So I think it comes down to the defenses in this one and probably what defense can play better, what quarterback and passing game can help out and in timely manners. Who do you got in this one, Steve?
And attacking quarterbacks. That's going to be a big part of this game. That right end, and they move around some, but pretty much comes out of the right side, facing the left tackle, going at the quarterback's blind side. Orange Lutheran's sophomore, fantastic, Marcus Fukatu. really good, unblockable guy. You're going to have to keep somebody back there to, he's going to get by the left tackle. You got to get him one more shot, slow him down. But he's a monster, big guy, fantastic. On the other side of the football, the Servites defense, that is, you got Cinco Kennett, right? He can go after it. Mosqueda's pretty good going after it. Saxon Churchwell gets a lot of tackles for Servite as well. Figure out a way to attack the quarterback, the young Ezra Brown, freshman, and Kale Murphy for the Servite quarterbacks, Kale Murphy. Whoever does that best and has good back end support is going to win this game. I think Servite's defense a little bit better. I'm going with the Friars of Servite to win this game at Orange Coast College. Normally that is a home game for Orange Lutherans Lancers, but Servite's the Nomads, pick up the tent, go play football here or there, wherever we can find the field, and so it's a Servite home game. You're going to pick Orange Lutheran, ain't you?
No, I am picking Servite. So
and you and I both vote in our poll. I finally came around. I know you. I think you've been voting Servite above Orange Lutheran the last handful of weeks.
I did this week. I voted Servite higher, but I flipped it. I had Orange Lutheran up there. Okay. I thought they were a little bit more. I've been wrestling with that one a lot of years. Yeah,
it's a tough one. And I went with I think this is my first week picking Servite over Orange Lutheran. I just took a look at the defensive angles, and I thought if they play each other, who am I going to pick? And I thought because the defense, I go with Servite in this game, but Orange Lutheran wins, and I'm not going to feel like, God, I blew that one totally, because Lutheran is extremely capable of winning this football game. Plus they get two good running backs too. Don't forget about Sam Morris, the Morris young man, Sean Morris, I'm sorry, over at OLU. Gavin Gutierrez is back running the football for Servite.
Yeah.
Their best offensive weapon, Luke Sorensen, a tight end. Man, I would target that guy a lot, but I'm not an offensive coordinator.
Yes. Yeah, and Servite is ranked 7th in Division I on HS rankings. Orange Lutheran is 8th. So they're very close in the OC rankings, the HS rankings. Mm-hmm. I think they're both headed to Division I as at-large bids. And, because it's already been settled in the Trinity League. The automatic qualifiers are already set. Bosco, Santa Margarita, Mater Dei, they're all autos. And I think these two teams are going to Division I as at-larges. So as much as I tried, Steve, trying to rattle these good games off, we agree on all of them, but which has happened a couple times this year. But I try to pick the non-obvious ones.
What's your reason for picking Servite?
Defense. Yeah, defense.
Same thing.
I think some of they're watching the Servite defense. I saw them against Mater Dei. I saw them play like the week after seeing Santa Margarita. They kind of remind me of the Eagles defense in some ways. They're aggressive. They can put pressure on the quarterback. Yeah. They're pretty good at stopping the run.
A lot of swarming.
Yeah, a lot of swarming. So, but the I like the Orange Lutheran wide receivers, and they're so it should be a fantastic game. Orange Lutherans had the advantage in recent years in this rivalry, which has usually been a pretty good rivalry in the Trinity League. But Servite's been Orange Lutheran's been kind of had Servite's number in recent years, but I think this is a great game. I think it's the closest one. And Max Preps had it. HS Rankings had this as a 1-point game. Very close. I forget if they had. I think they had Servite winning like 27-26.
I didn't look at that. Okay,
let's see if I can.
It's going to be amazing. And then if it's an 8-team bracket, what do you think? 8 teams, D1.
That's how it's seeming like 8 teams in Division I.
Kind of like that, isn't it?
There's some kind of
drop from number 8 Orange Lutheran to the number 9 team, which I think is Marietta Valley this week. Yeah,
there's some weird stuff to the fans should pay attention to the Big West League with that Marietta Valley is in. There could be a logjam. I think a 3-way tie for second place in that league, which will be won by Centennial. But you have to watch if Marietta Valley somehow, because of that 3-way tie for second, if they come out of an at-large, that would be important, because as an at-large team, they could not be the number 1 seed in Division II as an at-large.
Yeah.
Because the Southern section doesn't start the playoff divisions with an at-large. So would that kick up Marietta Valley to Division I, and it would be a 9-team league if they want to try to accommodate, a very good team? Could the Southern section, bounce somebody like perhaps Orange Lutheran, a sub 500, and keep it an 8-team league, in 8-team bracket in Division I? So there's a couple things to watch. But as far as the size of these brackets, but keep an eye on Marietta Valley.
Yeah, that's going to be wild. Hopefully you don't get like a really good team that is the number one team in the Division II group and they don't get in. That happened to Beckman's girls volleyball team this past fall, this past week. So
yeah,
but there it is.